Hello beautiful souls and welcome. Today we are unboxing the tarot cards of modern goddesses. Very excited to see how this has been interpreted, so let the magic begin. So I actually stumbled upon this deck on the A to Z, you know, the place where you can get pretty much anything and everything. Didn't know of it beforehand. I still don't know anything about it. I haven't googled anything because I just thought I will just let myself unbox this and just share with you a completely authentic unboxing like I do every time, because I like to share those with you. I have no idea what to expect other than the creator has matched goddesses with the tarot cards. I'm going to presume that's for the major and the minor arcana. No idea. I think we should just open it on up and have a look inside. Let's get my trusty scissors. So it says this deck was edited by Cecilia Latari and illustrations are by Petra Braun. I don't know anything about these people. They probably have loads of stuff published. If they've published a deck, I'm sure they're very good. It looks like the artwork's great. I'm excited to see what the guidebook and everything looks like. First off, the box is matte. As you can see, it's nice, smooth, matte finish. The only thing I'm noticing, and I'm having to hold it up, is that the top and the bottom just completely slide off. And we've seen this before, I think in the Modern Witch Tarot. I don't know, was that rock pool as well? I can't remember, but I feel like it's there's a fault with it, let's just say that way. I wouldn't say it's the best way to open a tarot box. That's just my feeling. Any kind of box, because you immediately pick it up from the side usually, or the top, and then you're going to have that falling out. So it's a nice idea in theory if you have a deck like on the side, but who stacks deck like that? I don't know. I don't. Maybe you do and it feels perfect for you. On the back it says, this deck dedicated to goddesses will allow you to read their messages and apply them to your daily life, rediscovering female power through the inspiration of iconic women from our time. Well, that's interesting. So we're talking about goddesses as actual people. Again, that depends on what you believe in. You might actually 100% believe Isis was a real person and she became an ascended master and then a goddess. Totally up to you what you believe, but that's interesting. It says every goddess embodies a message for each of us despite gender. The goddesses of this deck are ancient divinities that speak a modern language, translating the magic they possess for the present. The deck was created to celebrate the fearless spirit of women. It is a spirit that has been expressed through myths by the goddesses themselves, who are archetypes of the resources of the feminine. If you let their messages and suggestions guide you through modern interpretation, you will be able to awaken your powers and reveal your powerful, wonderful divine side. And then it has an example of Judgment and the Emperor. Okay, so that's kind of confusing me because it's talking about goddesses being these archetypes of the feminine, and then at the top it talks about iconic women from our time. So maybe there's some actual people that have been included in this. I don't know. Let's just open it up. So as I say, you want to have it on the side when you open it because they have it laid out with the guidebook inside. Just a nice bluey inner there for you. This is it's kind of like a mix between a green and a baby blue. I quite like the colour. I'm sure there's an actual colour name for it, but anyway. So immediately opening it, we have the guidebook, and behind the guidebook we have the deck, which looks like it's in its own box. Yeah, it's in another box. Okay, I take back what I said about the box potentially opening and all the deck falling everywhere. They've given you another box for that. That's quite a nice idea. Okay, let's start by looking through the guidebook. As you can see, it's quite a thick guidebook. It's a standard size, I would say. On the back, it echoes the message it had on the back of the box and the example of the Judgment and the Emperor. And the guidebook is in colour. Well, this is exciting. So this deck is retailed at $19.99. So the fact that they've got a coloured guidebook I think is really good. Obviously, it might help that they are a big publisher, so they probably could afford to order en masse and therefore it was cheaper to do in colour. But that's nice that they've got that actually. It's a nice little touch. So inside we have information on a deck dedicated to goddesses, real and divine, modern grandeur, major arcana, minor arcana, reading and interpreting the tarot cards of goddesses, how to familiarise yourself with the deck. Interesting that that's been put at the end. Is there any information about the artists? Yes, there are. Cecilia Latari is a herbalist. That's pretty cool. And Petra Braun is an Austrian illustrator. Well, they sound like great people. Okay, I love that. Yeah, this looks cute. I like this. I'm most interested to see how they've chosen a goddess to go with each of the major arcana or the minor, and I'm also interested to see if we can tell, because sometimes they've written things. Yeah, okay, good. Maybe it's just regular tarot for the minor arcana. I'm not seeing anything about goddesses there, but it looks like the major arcana are connected. Okay, I think we should just dive straight in and have a look through the deck. So if I just get that separate box out for you, as you can see, it's just a bog standard box. And I mean, it's not the strongest quality. I think this would probably give over time, but you have got the sturdier box that you can put it in, so that probably helps. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, okay, so the deck is actually a shiny finish rather than matte like the box. That's interesting. So let's look at the back of the cards. We have a design with a moon and a sun and some little stars and then this sunburst coming out. It's quite a simple design, but I feel like that's okay. You would know if the card was reversed or upright because you'd have the moon and the sun either one way or the other, so you'd be able to tell. That's the only thing. And there is no foiling on the side. Now we all know that I love foiling, however it's quite common for big companies not to do foiling, and I think partly that's to keep costs down, partly I think that's to be environmentally friendly. I'm pretty sure a friend told me there's something to do with the environment, that it's good not to do foiling. So I think we should just go through the whole deck and have a good look at what they've got. Yeah, let's just start with the major arcana. The cards are quite a nice size. Actually, I'd say they're regular tarot size. I like that they've got the numbers and then they've got the bit at the bottom saying what the card is, so you know. It's quite a massive deck to shuffle. I have to say, like, holding the cards to shuffle them, they are enormous, but I do have small hands, so you might find that they are really easy to shuffle. Okay, let's take a look through the minor arcana now. I think the most noticeable difference, and something that I actually really like that the creator has done, is put the crone of pentacles or the crone of wands. There isn't a king. I really like that they've done that actually. I feel like that just brings more of that feminine goddess archetypal energy in, and I think that's a really lovely way to look at it actually. So this is leaning very much into the divine feminine. I can't say that I've seen another deck where they've used the crone. I think people often shy away from the crone or see it as like the old hag or a bad thing. It's really not. It's just that wise woman energy. So I think that's really interesting that they've used this. So what do you guys think of this deck? I think this is a very pretty, nicely illustrated deck. I feel like it probably would be something that would be quite interesting to use if you are new to tarot, because I feel like there's quite a lot of information in the guidebook, and I think the imagery is quite easy to decipher if you're somebody who enjoys imagery anyway. If you aren't, then maybe that's not for you. I really like the colours. I think the palette that they've used is really nice. The deck feels nice to hold. Yes, it is quite a big deck for small hands like me when you're shuffling. However, it's not awful. You can always turn it the other way to shuffle. It's not the end of the world, is it? So I think this is a really lovely deck, and I'm quite excited to use it. So I will be using this deck, or will have already used it, in my Leo season pick a card reading, which I'll pop a link to in the description box. But let me know what you guys think of this deck. Have you already got this, or is this something you've never heard of like me and you're now inspired to get this and use this? I feel like this will be a deck I definitely use. I really like connecting with the goddesses. I think she's chosen some really interesting goddesses there with some lovely stories. So I'm really excited to work with this deck. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. So I'm actually going to be doing, does that make sense? Judgment is Lilith. That's cool. So I'm most interested. Information on a deck dedicate. I take back what I said about the deck, and I take back what I say about size. You will, on the back it says this deck is dedicated. First off, the back, other than they have, and then I think we're ready. Is that on? Yes it is. Great. So we have the Fool, who's Persephone. That makes total sense. The Magician is Morgan. Oh, that's pretty cool. The High Priestess is Isis. Again, that makes complete sense. The Empress is Tara. That's lovely, yeah. Abundance. The Emperor is Pele. The Hierophant is Hera. The Lovers, Aphrodite. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like the look of that card. The Chariot is Cybele, is that right? Or Cybele? I don't know her. Strength is Oya. The Hermit is Hecate. Wheel of Fortune is the Three Fates. That's quite a good idea. Justice is Athena. The Hanged Man is Medusa. Death is Matangi. Temperance is Inanna. The Devil is Baubo. She looks cool. I like that. The Tower is Kali. I mean, that makes complete sense. The Star is Nut. The Moon is Artemis. The Sun is Freya. Judgment is Lilith. That's cool. The World is Gaia. Well, that makes sense. I like the look of that.